Yeah guys, you read the title correctly. We made a crazy new discovery about the rage mechanic in Rise of Kingdoms. I promise I am not clickbaiting you, I am hopefully just positively provoking your minds to listen carefully to our new findings, because some new tests on the rage mechanic I am about to present you will absolutely blow your minds off. I don't want to keep you waiting, so let's get straight into it. This week I published the first video about the rage topic, establishing a few things with my testings. 1. There is a rage compensation mechanic in Rise of Kingdoms, basing on which if you are losing the battle you get more rage. 2. There is a rage limit per turn in Rise of Kingdoms, and it is 220 as confirmed by Lilith support. This means that you cannot get more than 220 rage per turn, and everything extra from talents, skills or equipments will be wasted and not preserved to be used on the following turns. Wick from the future here. I see all of your Discord posts and comments about testings you are conducting about rage. Unfortunately, 95% of those tests have been conducted on Barbarian troops. Let me show you why you should never ever conduct rage testings on Barbarian troops. Here there is me attacking a Barbarian. Let's check the battle report. Do you notice something weird on the battle log for the first 2 turns? The Barbarian did not attack us in the first 2 turns of battle, but just counterattack our attacks. He starts actually attacking us on turn number 3, and as I will prove in next week's video, rage is divided in attack rage and counterattack rage. So by all means, we are not getting the complete amount of rage in the first 2 turns, and this screws up any calculations. Please do not make this mistake when testings, always do that against another player and in a controlled environment that has no randomness and everything is equal, otherwise your results will never be reliable. Back to the video. Since the best fuel of this channel is you guys, I always read your comments and suggestions. And one question in particular from this Korean player was really spot on. I will read it to you. Do you know what happens in the case of rage reducing commanders? For example, if I earned 320 rage in a single turn, but commanders like Amanitor reduced my rage for that turn by 100 thanks to her expertise skill, would I be getting 320 minus 100, 220 rage, or 220 minus 100 equals to 120 rage because of the rage cap? This is probably one of the best questions I have ever received on my channel, so thank you for that. And I will explain his question in other terms. He basically wants to know if the rage limitation is applied before or after any rage reduction effects. Please, now do not skip anything because every step of the way is dramatically important. We started thinking about how we could answer this question and finally we found a way. First of all though, I want to establish the usual baseline. For this test, we will have the same battle conditions. We are using a monitor on the field without a secondary commander. Same talents, which you can see on the screen, same VIP level, same civilization, same troop type and quantity, all the usual stuff. There is no randomness in a monitor skill, which is very rare for a legendary commander by the way, so nothing unpredictable can happen. Why did we pick these talents? Remember in the first video when I told you that the base neutral rage for troops dealing the same damage to each other in the same condition was between 100 and 111.1 periodic? Well, I needed to further narrow down this window. Many people think that the base rage is 100, because in the same battle conditions you fire off your skill on turn 11, so it means that you collected 1000 rage in 10 turns, and you assume that is 100 rage per turn, because of course 1000 divided by 10. Actually, it's not like that, it's more complicated. Even if it were to be 105 or 111, you would still require 10 turns of accumulation, because with 111 rage per turn, for instance, after 9 turns, you would have 999 rage, not enough to fire your skill on turn 10. so you should still wait for turn number 11. That's why we picked this talent tree right here. Feel free to replicate what I am doing. This can be 100% reproduced without any issue. Do not worry about Rejuvenate because we will consider only the first skill cycle, so after we fire off the skill, we will stop. Both of us will have 9 extra rage per turn thanks to Burning Blood. Now, if our base rage was 100, with Burning Blood, we assume to reach 109 rage per turn, and on turn number 9, we will have 981 rage. So turn 10 is the last turn of accumulation that would consent us to fire off the skill on turn 11. But this is not the case. If we check the battle report, where first of all we can see that everything looks the same, slightly wounded units, severely wounded units and troop buffs, when we open the log, I immediately notice that we fired off our skills on turn 10 and not on turn 11 like we should have if our base rage was 100 plus 9 from Burning Blood. So this mathematically means that it is not 100 per turn, but it's more. The minimum number is 103, because only with a minimum of 103 plus 9 from Burning Blood, we could have fired off the skill on turn 10. If it was 102 plus 9, so 111 per turn, as I said before, on turn 9 we would have had 999 rage, still not enough to fire the skill off on turn 10. I hope everything is clear so far. Basing on this new data, we came up with a new test to answer our subscribers' question about the rage limit. First of all, since Lilith did not give me any information, I wanted to be sure that the rage limit actually exists. We already tested that before I released my first video, but I wanted to provide you an extra proof. We have again a monitor against a monitor in this test. This time with this talent tree right here, picking up no randomness on the way and both the base rage talents BRT, Razor Sharp and Burning Blood, for a total of 18 extra rage per turn. Assuming now that our base rage is at least 103, basing on our previous test, we will have 103 plus 18 equal to 121 rage each turn. We also have Rejuvenate at maximum level in this test, 3 out of 3, granting us 150 extra rage when we activate our skills. Now, we have these two tables on the screen. I want you to pay close attention to their difference. If there actually is a rage cap at 220 rage, on turn 10 we would accumulate only 220 rage, despite the fact having a base rage of 121 plus 150 of Rejuvenate equals to 271, which is the case of the second table on the right side. On turns 11 and 12, we have the rage reduction effect of 100 per turn caused by a monitor's expertise skill, and this leads us to accumulate the required rage on turn 19 if there is a rage cap, with a skill fired on turn 20, or on turn 18 in case there is not a rage cap, with a skill fired on turn 19. Feel free to check all the numbers, I went through them like 10 times and I used Excel to be completely sure about what I was doing. Let's battle, and if on the report I fire off my active skill on the second cycle on turn 20, it means that in Rise of Kingdoms the rage limitation exists, otherwise I must cast my skill on turn 19. Let's open the battle log, and as you can see, we both cast our second skill on turn 20. The rage limitation is here and it's real, we can trust Lilith on this. But now, how can we reply to our subscribers' question about the rage cap and the rage reduction effects? For example, if I earned 320 rage in a single turn, but commanders like Amanitor reduced my rage for that turn by 100, would I be getting 320 minus 100 220 rage, or 220 minus 100, 120 rage because of the rage cap? This answer might be game-changing, and this is the way we verified it. We used the same talent tree, but this time with a secondary commander that does not have any randomness in the skills, and we both picked Markswoman, so we added a second commander. In this way, when Markswoman will fire off her skill on turn 12, that skill will actually align with both Rejuvenate and the opponent monitor's rage reduction effect. On turn 12, we will have 121 rage from base rage and talents, plus 150 rage from rejuvenate at level 3, and minus 100 rage from a monitor's rage reduction. Will the rage reduction be applied before or after the rage cap? In other words, is it 220 minus 100 or 271, which is 122 plus 150 minus 100? Will we gain 120 rage on that turn or 171 rage? This is a big difference. I made now two tables with the two scenarios. If the rage reduction is applied only after the rage cap, further reducing our rage gain for that turn to 120 rage, we will cast our active skill again only on turn 19. If the rage reduction is otherwise applied before the rage cap, we will gain 171 rage that turn, and we will fire off our skill on turn 18 because our rage accumulation will be completed on turn 17. There are no other variables here. This test is literally bulletproof because there is no randomness and nothing can go wrong. Let's fight and let's see what happens. Here we go with the first skill, we are at turn 10. And here we go with the second skill. Is this turn 19 or 18? Let's open the battle log and let's discover it together. Well, with my surprise, we fired off our skill on turn 19. So this means that any rage reduction effects will be applied only after the rage cap. This means overraging is even worse than I thought, because before you might think, okay, I gained 400 rage that turn, but I had many silent trials and a monitor attacking me. So I should be good. I should be good to go and still have gained 220 rage, right? Well, wrong. If you gained 400 rage in one turn, first of all, that rage will be reduced back to the 220 rage limitation cap, and then, only then, all the other rage reduction effects will be applied. This discovery right here dramatically increases the value of the silent trial on marches and dramatically decreases the value of talents like Feral Nature and items like the Horn of Fury or the Karak's War Drums. Just listen to my literal live reaction when I discovered this. Now let's check 19 or 18. Okay, let's check. Porca. What do you guys think about it? I'm completely speechless. Let me know in the comments. On a side note, the highest level of VIP support told one of my subscribers that the rage reduction is applied before the rage cap. So if, for example, one turn you get 250 rage and 50 rage is reduced, at the end of one turn you will gain a total of 200 rage, so 250 minus 50, and not 170, 220 minus 50. Of course, the player who sent me this screenshot was happy about this and rightfully thought, okay, overraging is very good then, because you can prevent people reducing your rage below the cap if you acquire more than the limit. I think that I proved that what the VIP support said here is totally wrong, and you also understand now why I don't take anything from granted and I conduct my own testings, because the rage gained will be 170 indeed, and not 200. Most of the time though, the VIP support is very precise, but on technical things they often reply without making sure of the answers with the developers, because they are probably just overwhelmed with the amount of questions and requests they get every day. I don't think Charles Martel thought more than 10 seconds about the answer. And that's VIP support for very high spenders. Imagine how many screenshots of unreliable answers content creators get from people asking to the in-game support. Another collateral finding from this testing is that we further reduce the window of the base rage accumulation of the commanders, which is minimum 103 as I said, and can be maximum 108. I will conduct more tests to reach a more precise number. I really wish Lilith gave us this information without having to test by ourselves. But anyway, in the next video I will also break down how much rage you actually gain from attacks and how much you gain from counterattacks, so if you don't want to miss that, consider leaving a like, subscribing and activating the bell for notifications. As always, I will see you on the next one. Ciao!